Welcome, everyone, to the Daddy Sharps featured bets. And these are the bets, of course, that we also love, in addition to our best bets, which you can find on our podcast.
But you're only going to find those right here on our featured bets section on the daddysharps.com website, my man.
Yeah, check it out. And also check us out on social media at Daddy Sharps and at Daddy Sharps Podcast. We have a YouTube channel as well if you want to check that out. A lot of cool stuff.
Yes.
All right, my man, you ready?
Let's do it. Let's jump right into our featured bets with a twist. We pride ourselves on betting the conferences and the games that your square hole buddies are too scared to bet.
That's right. Every week we do that. But for this week's featured bets, we only have one game that fits that, and that is the MAC Conference Championship. A little MACtion. Little MACtion. So we're going to break that down. And then you and I, we're just going to rip through every big college game that everyone else is betting this weekend, just because why not? And we're going to share our thoughts, because we also follow those games, everyone, and we break those down. It's just, who cares? I mean, who cares? I'll never forget the time, John, and I'd love you to fill in some gaps in the story as well. You and I were at a big casino in Vegas, making our bets late night. We actually jumped over some ropes to get to some kiosks that were open to get our college numbers in that we loved. And this guy comes up and he says to us, "You guys seem like you know what you're doing. Do you have any tips for me, or any games you can throw my way?"
Yes, I do remember this.
And what did we say to that young gentleman?
You said, bet Ohio. And he said Ohio State. You're like, no, Ohio, man. No. And he won. That young man had a great day the next day.
The Bobcats. And he looked at us and said, "Oh my God, I'm going to show my buddies." And they're going to be like, "Why did you bet? I'm going to look so awesome." Yeah, we won that guy some money. And he did.
Yep.
He did. All right.
Yes.
So here we go. We are going to start off with that MACtion championship game. We've got the Toledo Rockets, John, laying 7.5 versus the Miami Redhawks. That's Miami of Ohio.
Redhawks. Roethlisberger school right there.
That's right. Right. The over-under in this one is 44. So this is a neutral site game. All these games are going to be neutral sites, unlike the AAC and the Sun Belts. And it's going to be at Ford Field in Detroit. The Redhawks are going to do what they've done all season, look for a turnover, run a slow, methodical offense. They have a slow tempo. Toledo's defense is really, really good in the MAC, top 50 in yards per carry, top 20 in yards per play allowed. Miami also has an elite defense, top 20 in red zone touchdown percentage. I like the defenses in this game. I like the under 44. I also think Miami will keep it a low-scoring game and cover that 7.5. John, what are your thoughts?
I like the under as well. Defense wins championships and defense wins unders, sir.
All right. The under in this game. Daddy Sharp consensus, under 44 in the MAC Conference Championship game. All right. John, why don't you take us through the Big 12 championship here? Big 12. Baby.
All right. So what we got here is Texas minus 15, the over-under 55.5 versus the Oklahoma State Cowboys. This is a neutral site game at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. The Texans are the better team by far. Luke, who do you like here?
I think 2 touchdowns is a stretch. Oklahoma State is surprising everyone right now. I think they cover that 15. I really like the over 55.5.
I'm actually going the opposite way here. I like Texas minus 14.5. Oklahoma State, 115th ranked D in terms of yards allowed. And you know what keeps sitting with me? What? They go and they beat Oklahoma. And then the very next week, I think they lost 45-3. Like, what are you doing? Are you kidding me? Was the spotlight too bright? Texas is coming in. They're gonna blow them out.
Hook them horns. Hook them. All right. I like that. Yes. Okay, now to a game that I cannot bet. I'm not allowed because I'm a resident of Washington State. The Pac-12 championship. Kind of sad note. We all grew up watching the Pac-12, those late games, those late college games, wondering, at least for me, being on the East Coast, what are these mysterious schools out there in the Pacific Coast I've never been to? Yes. This is the last time the Pac-12 will be around, man. This is it. So we've got the UW, Washington Huskies versus the Oregon Ducks. The Ducks favored by 9 in this one. The over-under, 66.5. Neutral site game. I think this is the first time ever they've played in Las Vegas. They're going to be at Allegiant Stadium. That's kind of interesting. The Huskies have been have the better quarterback by far, in my opinion. Michael Penix Jr. is just incredible. He beat the Ducks and Bo Nix by 1 point back in October, and that total hit 69. So I think this is going to be another shootout. Before I give my picks here, again, I cannot bet on this. Who do you like in this game?
For me, I like the revenge factor. As much as I want Washington to win this, I think it would be awesome to have that team in the playoffs. Oregon has one heck of a defense, and they almost pulled it off when they were playing the Huskies at home. And I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks -9 here. They're statistically better on offense as well, which surprised me when I looked up the numbers. I'm going with the Oregon Ducks and getting that revenge.
Yeah, sadly, I think you're right.
And
Interesting that it's 9.
I will preface that the 9. I don't like 10. Anything over 10 is bad. It's got to be under 10.
I agree. I just think that's a high for this game as well. It seems like the odds makers like the Oregon big time here. I think I do too. I'm really flirting with that over 66.5 as well. That's pretty high though. I'm just scared to hit it. Especially because I think Oregon's defense is gonna do some things here. I agree with you. I don't want to, but I agree with you. Oregon wins this game big time.
Nice. All right, to the big one, the big enchilada, the one everybody watches, the SEC championship game. Georgia -5.5, 53.5 is the total versus Alabama. Neutral site game. We're down in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the cool flower stadium that opens up on top. Bulldogs ranked #1 in the country, and they have their eyes on another national championship. For the Crimson Tide, this is their final game, and they'll play it like it's their national championship. Luke, what are you thinking here?
I think a lot of sharps are looking at Alabama saying this is the team, man. They're going to whoop Georgia in this championship game. But this spread started at 6, and maybe 6.5. Definitely at 6. Dude, I like Georgia. I think Georgia's #1 for a reason, and I think they're the SEC champs for a reason. And I'm going to be honest. I bought them at 5.5 today. I like Georgia.
Sir, I am going against you.
Oh, see?
There Bama. You go. I like Bama here. Any one score spread where they're favored this year in their last 10 games, they won it. I like it. I think the books got them little under here, but I think any one score spread, Bama can cover it.
I agree with you. It is going to be a great game. I just keep going back to last week, Auburn, Alabama, and it shouldn't have been like that. So I think squeak by with a win. God, I can't wait to watch this with you. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Absolutely. Let's move on.
Now I'm going to have to. It's breaking Daddy Sharp rules. I'm just going to go with Bama on the money line there.
Ooh, like it. Well, if you see value there, I don't blame you. I love that, dude. All right. A lot of football to get to. All right, here we go. The ACC Championship, Louisville versus Florida State. Florida State laying 2.5. The over-under is 47.5. Neutral site game, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Louisville's offense got them here. They're a good team, solid team. No one thought they would maybe do this well, but a lot of preseason hype on Louisville, and they've proven it to everyone. But for me, the Seminoles defense is key. They're only giving up 16.8 points per game. They're 10th in the country allowing passing TDs. They have 7 fumbles and 10 picks this season. Of course, their starting quarterback, Jordan Travis, his season ended after breaking his leg a couple of weeks back. Johnny J, I'm going to tell you who I like, and I'd like to hear what you think. I think Florida State's defense is enough. I think they hold Louisville here, and I think they win this one by a field goal. I like FSU in the ACC championship.
I'm with you for the same reasons you said. I think their defense is enough to hold here, but if somehow they do make it into the playoff, they're going to get annihilated without their quarterback.
Yeah.
Annihilated.
I agree.
I actually heard arguments today that said a lot of the playoff matchmakers and the big bowl games are hoping Florida State loses so they don't have to put them in there because the juice is just gone with that team.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they
Oh,
don't want him in there.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that I think we're missing out. You know, in Oregon and UW base is another one of those pivotal games. Do you know? If you look at Oregon, because I don't know how they're like, I think ranked 6th right now. Is that right? 6th
Yes.
versus number 4 for Washington. So
Yeah.
let's just say Oregon for some reason got in there. They measured up and it just worked out for them. You know, there's an argument to be made that the Pac-12 versus like SEC teams, they're not going to do well. They're not going to. It's not going to be good football.
No.
Is that what we want?
No.
I like UW, but I don't know if they make for a good college national, playoff team. We'll see. We'll see.
Finally, we got the Big Ten championship. I actually like this game. This one's very interesting to me. Michigan minus 21.5, the over under 35 versus Iowa. Neutral site, Lucas Oil Stadium, the house that Peyton built in Indianapolis. 2 defensive powerhouses, 1 offensive powerhouse. That's Michigan. Luke, we start with you. What do you like?
I like the under 35. And I think I really do believe Iowa scores no points in this game. And I think Michigan racks up. Iowa's defense is good. I think they rack up maybe 21. Maybe they cover that spread if you can get it. 21's obviously a weird key number. It's a kind of a low key number, but 21.5. I think the odds makers are telling us something there. I think they win this game, maybe by 3 touchdowns, but they definitely hit that under. Iowa scores 0 points in this game.
That's correct. They do. in the last 2 years that these two teams have met, they have scored 17 points. Michigan and Iowa. That's combined 17 points in 2 games. And the bet that I'm going with here, the one that I like Iowa plus 21.5. Give me Iowa over Michigan here.
No, it's not bad. Not bad. I like that. Yeah. They get a weird turnover, get a field goal. Field goal could cover it.
Yeah. And let's not forget the beginning of the year when we started this entire process. As we said, we break down the conferences that nobody else likes to play or that nobody else likes to bet. A lot of our teams played Michigan, and they were playing Michigan in that week 0, 1, 2, 3 with huge spreads like this. Michigan, of any other team, Michigan is notorious for pulling starters in that 3rd and 4th quarter and just prepping for the next. It didn't matter who the coach was. Harbaugh was out sometimes. They just allow teams to cover these huge spreads in the end because they're not playing anybody. They're giving everybody playing time. So that's why I like Iowa a lot here. I think Iowa's going to keep playing hard.
Great point. Interesting, because I think Michigan does still come into this game with the idea that they're not playing for the Big Ten championship. Their eyes are already on they want a national championship.
Yes.
And that's what they're playing for. They got to be careful here somewhat. I mean, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be looking to blow people out. I think you're right. If they get ahead and get enough of a lead, but and God, this can be a good, this could be the most entertaining game of the weekend. It really
could be. Yes. It's a good weekend for college football.
Yeah, it really is. Good for college football. Let's move on.
All right. Now we're into our bread and butter, sir. I mean, our best bets in the NFL, our NFL bets overall are great. Our best bets, usually pretty good in the NFL. For some reason this year, our featured NFL bets have been blazing hot. Yes. Yep. First one I like here, Arizona at Pittsburgh, minus 5.5. The total is 40. And my best bet, and you got to look for the right book here because a lot of places is 3.5. My bet here is Pittsburgh minus 3 in the first half. I love the Steelers get an early lead here as the Cardinals bring their 25th ranked offense against the top 5 ranked defense of the Steelers. Since Kyler Murray's return, the Cardinals have been outscored 76-29 in 3 games in the first half, and they were only within a field goal once. Yeah, I'll take that first half. Pittsburgh minus 3.
Yeah, the book I'm looking at right now online is minus 3 as well. Yeah, they haven't been great. Kyler Murray they have not been great since his return.
I think that's a sneaky good bet right there. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about it because they think Kyler Murray's going to come in there and run all over.
Yeah, exactly. I like Pittsburgh on the whole there, but yeah, definitely. Okay, Kansas City. We got a lot of games to go through here.
Yes.
Kansas City Chiefs are laying 6. We've said this in our best bets at the Green Bay Packers. The over/under is 42.5. My best, my featured bet. Your best bet was the Kansas City Chiefs to cover the 6 on the
Yep.
road. My featured bet here is the Packers +6. I think Jordan Love is beating our expectations each week. He's one of those guys I didn't want to believe, and now I'm starting to believe. The Packers defense, decent. The Chiefs wide receivers, still a problem. Dropping passes. Ugh. Chiefs normally can't cover. We talked about this a little bit. You think they do here, and their against the spread is not as bad as what people think. You made a great point in our podcast about that. But last week, they did cover, but against a square betting fan favorite, the Raiders. I mean, they were down to the Raiders, but they were down 2 touchdowns to the Raiders, and they came back. I don't want to be in that same mix like fan favorite Green Bay Packers, but squares bet on Kansas City as well because of Mahomes and Kelsey and Taylor Swift and all that. So give me the home dog Packers +6 in this one. I know we're fighting on this.
Yes.
I can't wait to watch this with you. I think it's gonna be another great classic football game right here.
Hey, one of us is gonna win.
There you go. There you go. Stakes on me, stakes on you. There you go.
Yes. Denver at Houston -3.5, 47.5 is the total. My bet here, I like Denver +3.5. Already took the under in the best bets on the podcast. Now I like the dog to cover. The hook, very important to me. I don't like this number at 3 or lower. As I said in the podcast, Broncos have 16 turnovers in the last 5 games. And now they face a rookie quarterback who has turned it over 4 times in those same stretch of games. Houston ranked 24th in the league for rushing yards. So Stroud throws this. They're going to have to throw for him to avoid the risk of the turnovers, but that's not a very good rookie best friend at 24th ranked rushing. Offense.
Interesting. No, good points. Good points. I hate the 3.5 too. And that's why I bought Houston -3. Ooh.
I knew it.
Well, we'll get to that, and we'll get to that a couple games down here. But
yes,
another great game that we're a lot of money on different sides. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
Yes.
I've got This is I told you on our podcast that I had an interesting Chiefs play here. They're at 6. It's a weird number. It's not it's not a Wong teaser. You can't get the Wong teaser, but do you tease them down and take a pick 'em, or what do how do you work that kind of out? When you like the Chiefs, but maybe not a 6, it's 2. Is there any way for me to still play this game? Here's a different way you could play this game. I'm looking at a money line parlay. We don't do a lot of parlays, and we never advocate for them because it's a lot of risk involved. You need those 2 legs to win. So check this money line parlay out, and I want your honest opinion about this. If you hate it, just tell me. Just say it sucks. Don't do it. It's stupid. First leg, Chiefs at the Packers. I already have the Packers +6, but I think the Chiefs will win that game. I hate betting against Mahomes here in situations like this. The Chiefs are, they're -6. So I'm looking at a 6-point teaser, which gets me to a pick 'em, but it also gets me a higher VIG of 120 if I put that in a teaser. So I like them on the money line more, but that is a lot of juice by itself because they're such a favorite, right?
Yes.
So why not go with a second leg here? I like the San Diego Chargers at the New England Patriots. New England is in all sorts of trouble here. What's going on? What's going on? No quarterbacks. Go ahead.
Multiple quarterbacks. He's going to rotate them, I guess.
Yeah, they are. They're going to rotate them again, and they're both horrible, and they can't score. But while I like the Chargers to win that game, they have issues too. Again, teasing the Chargers to a pick 'em comes at a higher price than that money line parlay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to parlay the Chiefs and Chargers on the money line. It comes out to a -110 or a -111, depending on where it moves. More risk for a parlay, perhaps, but I'm confident in those picks. And if I'm going to do a teaser and a 6-point teaser at a -120, doesn't it make more sense to just parlay them on the money line? That's what a pick 'em is, right? At -110, another way to bet. And that's what I'm doing.
I would follow you normally, but I swore off betting the Patriots this year.
Oh, I know.
a few weeks ago, so I can't do it.
In any game that they're involved in, I like that.
In
I think the
any game they're
Chargers.
involved in, they've screwed me on
Oh,
both
I
sides.
know, I know. Well, we'll see. And if it
Yes.
happens again this week, then I will swear them off again.
All right, we got Kansas City -6 at Green Bay. We already touched on this game a little bit.
Another Kansas City bet.
Yes.
I'm loving this.
And what I like here is the total 42.5. I like the under. That's a low under, especially for a Kansas City game. But Kansas City 4-1 to the under in the last 5 games. This Kansas City defense, I've touched on it before. They're a top unit. They don't give up late scores like they used to. It's a top 3 unit for points scored. Green Bay, middle of the road offensively. Combined, these two teams have hit a total 43 or lower 5 out of 20 times. So not good. Excuse me. They've hit the over 43 5 out of 20 times. So they've actually hit the over or the under 15 times out of 20. I'll take that.
Yeah, and I already took it. I bought that today.
Yes. 42.5.
Couldn't agree with you more. A lot of people going with the over. It could be a weather game, some little bit, not really, but a little rain, I think, here and there. But yeah, it's going to be an under. It's one of those primetime games. It's a primetime game.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you. Whenever you see Kansas City, it sometimes the data says take the over on a Kansas City game. Regardless, not this game. The data says take the under.
Right.
I shy away from taking any over on Kansas City because that number is so inflated with squares betting it up. I rarely take a Kansas City over, even if the data says to.
Agreed. They think Mahomes, they think scoring, and they think high scoring, and that and data not only says under, but what was my point I was going to make? Oh, I can't remember. But anyways,
I guess the point is watch this before kickoff because you're probably going to get an even better number than 42.5.
Yeah, I think under. Yeah, and I would bet it again over and over and over because what I was going to say is primetime games.
Yep.
This is a primetime game, right? Is this a Sunday night game?
Yes.
This is a Sunday night game, yeah.
Yep.
They've hit, I think, 15-1 or something like that in the last couple seasons. Or something like that. Something ridiculous. Yeah. So, yeah, think about that. All right. I've got a teaser for you. My first leg, Indianapolis Colts -1 at the Tennessee Titans. The over-under is 43. The Titans are divisional dogs at home. Think about that. I like how they're playing lately. They had a great game last week. We need to tease, though, the Titans up through the 7 to 7.5. So this is going to be a 6.5 point teaser. You're going to pay for that, but I like the teaser. My second league, Jacksonville Jaguars are laying 8.5 at home against the Bengals. The over-under in that one is, interestingly, 38 points. So again, another 6.5 point teaser on this. So because obviously you have to do both. Let's tease the Jags down to -2. So I love these two games. I love the Titans and I love the Jags, but just not at those numbers. I feel safer with the Titans +7.5. So through the 7 and the Jags at -2, which is down through the 3. And that is my teaser.
I actually just bought that today.
No!
Same exact thing. Yes.
You pay a little extra juice, but hey, it's worth it.
You love Atlanta in this next game.
I do.
Atlanta -2.5 at the New York Jets. 34 is the over-under. I'm going to take 2 bets in this game that aren't your best bet, but they are in line with your best bet. I like the under 34. I know that's a scary number, but I like it. And I like Atlanta -0.5 point first half. Truth be told, I was able to get this line at 34.5 early in the week, but still like the 34. 2 of the worst offenses in the league going against 2 of the top scoring defenses in the league. The Jets can't score, averaging 10 points a game in the last 5. Both teams a combined 14-7-1 to the under on the year. The first half number, as good as the Jets defense is, they are ranked 31st and 16th for scoring in the first and second quarters. They give up a lot of points in that first half. I like Atlanta -0.5 or -0.5 point in that first half and the under 34.
Yeah, I like both of those. I think you're right. Jets can't score. They can't score.
No.
That's fantastic, man. God, I didn't. I do. I crunched. I didn't even discuss this with you. but I did crunch Atlanta first half numbers, and I actually bought that without even talking with you
Nice.
because I love that first half as well. I love that.
I almost made it a best bet. Almost.
I know that's a good one. That's a solid one. All right,
Yeah.
we're back on the Denver Broncos. A lot of bets we've got on the Broncos at the Houston Texans as well. Texans are it's 3.5 right now is the number, favored by 3.5. The over under is 47. I don't like the 3.5. I don't.
Yes.
I wouldn't take the Texans at 3.5. I'll take the push if anything, but my best bet is the Texans -3. Denver on a 5-game winning streak, looking pretty good. Russell looks pretty good, but sorry, man, streaks tend to end in the NFL here. Texans are making silly mistakes, just dumb mistakes, and then CJ Stroud is making up for all of those mistakes. Definitely a playmaker. I've seen the Russell Wilson movie before, John. Don't know if you're
Yes.
aware.
Yes.
He's cooking. He's doing great. He's the Russell that all the Hawks fans knew he would be in Denver. It's just, you just got to get the right system and within the guardrails what the coach is telling him to do, and he can be really good. But he's on the road. I don't like that. It's against Houston. I don't like that for Russell. A lot of sharps like Houston at -3. Our data points to Houston -3.5 down. Not over. As soon as it hits a 4, it says nope, doesn't like Houston at all. But I will buy, if it doesn't move, the line doesn't move, I will buy that half point to make sure I get at least a push. I like the Texans -3. I know you like Denver +3.5, which is also a great bet. It's going to be really an interesting game, and I wish you all the best of luck. And
yes, we are head to head a lot this week.
I know, and I hope you buy me a steak if I lose. Okay.
All right. Here is my teaser that I alluded to earlier. Kansas City at the Green Bay Packers, San Francisco at Philadelphia. The bet that I like here is Kansas City -0.5, which is one of your legs already. And I'm taking the risk here. I like Philly +8.5. This is probably my favorite teaser on the week. My data shows Kansas City is a 78% chance of winning. You heard me say it before. Good teams win, great teams cover. Philly 10-1, 6-2-3 against the spread. San Francisco 6-5 against the spread. Yes, we talked about it. San Francisco can blow teams out, but has anybody seen Jalen Hurts actually all season long? This guy makes up for mistakes. He comes back when his team needs him. This guy's in a zone right now. He's in a zone.
Yeah, he looks really good. They look really good when they need to look really good. And I keep hearing them in press conferences say things like, "We haven't played our best game yet," and usually that's a cliche, and you think, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But with this team, I think, God, that's right. And
Yeah.
when's their best game coming? I hope it's not this weekend because I've got San Francisco -2.5. But I think it depends on who you really kind of follow. And like let me preface this. We go by our own data and we do our own handicapping and we crunch our own data, but then we listen to other people and we talk with other people and get other thoughts, because you should always get input from other places. And a lot of people are mixed. A lot of people say, yeah, definitely Philadelphia. And I agree with this. Some people say it's going to be a blowout. Some people say, though, how can you take Philadelphia +3 or +3.5 if it gets there at home? How can you not take that? How can you not take that? And I don't disagree with that at all. So I really love Philadelphia +8.5. You've convinced me. It's a winner.
Oh, I like it. Let's do this. Let's do it.
Do you like this one? I think you're going to hate this one. Just be honest with me.
I'm going to wait till you describe it, and then I'm going to be completely honest.
Then you're just going to crap all over it. All right.
No.
I'm going to need 2 steaks because I'm not going to have any money after this one. The Miami Dolphins are at the Washington Commanders. The Dolphins laying 9.5 on the road. The over-under 50.5. My best bet here, or my featured bet, I should say, Commanders +9.5. Buy it up to 10 if you feel safer. I like the 9.5 and this is why. Over the last 20 years, teams that lost by more than 17 points the week before, that play teams that won by 17 or more the week before, are 60% against the spread. That's pretty good. Over that span of time. That's history, my man. So the Dolphins, the Dolphins play usually horribly against mediocre and crappy teams on the road. Commanders are mediocre to a crappy team. Commanders +9.5. I already bought it. Boom.
Sir, I almost called you before the podcast today. I was going to buy this number, and I didn't have the stones to put it in this podcast.
Ah!
I love that you put it in here, and I'm right with you. I think the Commanders are going to cover this spread. I like it a lot.
They've got an offense that can do it, and Miami's going to win the game, but they're going to do just enough to win the game.
Yep. Yes.
And then fly home to where it's warm.
All right. Every time I bet this team, I'm nervous, and you hate it. And man, I got to be honest with you. They have not steered me wrong yet. It's crazy the amount of luck I have with this team. Carolina at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay -5.5, 37.5 is the total. My bet here, take Tampa Bay -5.5. Tampa hasn't steered me wrong, like I said, all year. They're a great cover team, 7-4 against the spread on the year. Carolina, however, 1-8-2 against the spread. All you need to know about Carolina is the play calling. 2 different play callers on the year already. Now we're going into our third one after their head coach gets fired this week. This rookie's got a lot of information to process, and the Panthers are a top 5 team in pass attempts, top 12 in completions. However, they rank 30th in passing yards. What does that tell you? They don't trust this quarterback. A lot of passes at or near the line of scrimmage because the young quarterback can't be trusted. And why would you? How many pick sixes have you seen this guy throw? 4?
Yeah, I agree.
So I like Tampa Bay -5.5, despite their secondary issues.
All of them right when they're about to cover. That's why I've sworn off Carolina. And you have some teams that are like, for you, the Patriots. You will not bet a game with the Patriots involved where they're involved. I will not bet a game where Carolina is involved. I like Tampa. I really do.
Yes.
And this one as well, but I won't touch it. I'm off it. I pass.
And I give this out because everything is indicating that Baker Mayfield is going to play, but just make sure to check before he is a little banged up, but this line hasn't moved. So that's usually an indicator he's going to play.
Currently on Monday, he felt pretty crappy, pretty bad,
yes.
Pretty bruised up. I hate you, Carolina. Oh, here we go. We go. We've got the Arizona Cardinals flying into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, where the Steelers are laying 5.5 at home. The over-under is 41 in this game. 41, a key number, and it's gone up from 40. So, John, what does that mean here? Do you maybe want a 41.5? What are your thoughts there? Because it's moved up.
I like 41.5.
Take the under 41.5 because I like the under.
Yes.
In this game.
Yep. I totally agree with you.
Steelers always hit the under. They changed their offensive coordinator last week, and they put up more than 400 yards against Cincy, but only 16 points. So they can do well, but there's still a lot of questions for Arizona, though. It's a long way to travel to play this defense, a defense that is used to playing against running quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying.
True. That's true.
So I don't think Kyler Murray is going to fare too well. I like the Steelers in this. I'm just too nervous to bet the Steelers at all because of the season, but I like the Steelers -5.5, maybe not betting it, but I really like that under 41. And if you want to feel better about it, get the hook, get the 41.5.
Yes. All right, Cleveland at the LA Rams, -3.5, 39.5 is the total. My bet here is going to be the LA Rams -2.5 in the first half. I don't like this at 3, obviously. Keep it at 2.5 or less. Cleveland, one of the worst teams in the league on giveaways. They're very tough to trust, especially in a half. The Cleveland defense ranked 26th in first quarter scoring. That's a great defense, and they give up that many points in the first quarter. Slow starters, which is where I really like the half here. On defense, they're the worst defense in football, giving up points, nearly a touchdown a game in that first quarter. Flacco getting his first start. I see a little rust here. He hasn't started it since January. So
how dare you?
Rust in that first half. Give me the Rams -2.5 in that first half.
How dare you? Flacco is a Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl champ that is going to stand there like a statue, and Aaron Donald's going to feast.
These teams really match up differently. It's going to be really interesting game. I will say it's not. I haven't included them in any of my bets, but I do have Cleveland in a lot of teasers this week. I really like. They were at +4. Oh, I actually bought them on a spread too at +4. But I like. They went down to a 3.5. Did I tease them? I can't remember if I teased them. Definitely bet them on the spread, but yeah, I like your first half. I like your first half too. All right, good bet, man. I like that.
We like these first halves this week.
Yeah, we do. We like this one too, I think. Los Angeles Chargers laying 5.5 on the road at the New England Patriots. The over-under is 40.5, and that's what I'm betting, the under 40.5. The Patriots cannot score, period. They are horrible. Chargers offense, they can, but not lately, especially the red zone. 4th in the league in scoring percentage for TDs, for touchdowns only. 69% in the red zone. That's really good, actually, right? But in their last 3 games, that's 50% in the red zone, scoring touchdowns against Detroit, Green Bay, and Baltimore. Baltimore's a great defense, but against Baltimore, they were 33% in the red zone. Granted, again, great defense there, but the Chargers have 2 players or maybe 3 players that actually can do something with the ball, and that's it.
Yes. Yep.
So I don't think the Chargers are scoring much here either. I think they win the game, but I like the under 40.5 here.
Yes. All right. And then my final under of the week. Seattle at Dallas -8.5, 47.5. I like the under 47.5. Crazy stat here about Dallas. You wouldn't think it. I looked this up and I couldn't believe it. They hit the over in all their divisional games, 5 divisional games so far this year, and all 5 overs hit, meaning they are 4-2 to the under against non-divisional opponents. For anybody that is not a geography whiz, Seattle is not in Dallas's division, so we should be safe with the under here. My data has the bet sitting at a 71% hit rate. Seattle 4-1 to the under on the road this year. And watch out for Pete when the lights are their brightest. This guy shows up since his USC days on these primetime games. I like the under a bunch in this game. 47.5.
I do too. And I laid 2 units on that today because it went up. Think about this. It went up.
Yes.
To 46 from 46.5. So it's gone up. So what is that telling us? That's telling us a lot of square money coming in on who? On the team with the star on their helmet. They're thinking, oh, this is it. This is it. Yep. Dallas is going to wipe them off the face of the earth. Yes. And you know what? In that same game, John, I'm just playing percentages over time here. I'm taking the Seahawks +9.
Let's go.
I laid it today.
I like it.
Bought it today. And this is why. Seattle needs to win, really. I don't know that they win. And Dallas doesn't need to win this game. They don't need to win this one at home. I think they will, but I don't think they cover. Just like Miami over the last 20 years, like I described above here in Miami, teams that lost by more than 17 points the week before, that play teams that won by 17 or more the week before, are 60% against the spread. Another team that falls in that category, by the way, Cleveland. Lost against your Denver Broncos by a ton last week. I'm just saying, I'm playing those percentages, but also the Seahawks. It's a primetime game. Dallas is going to sit back a little bit here. I think the Seahawks cover that 9. I really do.
I like it. All right. Well, that does it for the Daddy Sharps featured bets this week. And remember, always gamble responsibly and within your means. And the bets we share are based on our own research. We don't always win, but in the featured bets, we usually do.
Yeah, we do. And this is going to be a big week. We're going to win all of those. A ton of featured bets. Ton of featured bets this week. I love it. And be sure and check us out on social media. Look for the Daddy Sharps on Instagram and Twitter. Check us out on our website, daddysharps.com. If you're watching this and listening to this, you're already there. So check out some more stuff we've got on there. We're going to be back next week, of course, with much, much more. Johnny J's.
Luke, who is your daddy?
Well, you are, but definitely we are.
That's right. Stay sharp, everyone.
I got the right answer.